Hello there, welcome back. This is Music Impossible. We're on the lesson number 9, and today we're going to talk about the grand staff. The grand staff, we've learned about treble clef, we've learned about bass clef, and so now we're going to come over here and take a look at the grand staff. And the grand staff is simply both the bass clef and the treble clef stacked on top of each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go here into Sibelius. We're going to add an instrument, and let's just go search for the piano, because the piano is an instrument that uses the grand staff. And so boom, there we go. The grand staff looks like this. And we have a couple of parts here of the grand staff we're going to talk about. This little squiggly line right here is called the brace. And the brace tells us that this is the same instrument playing both the treble and bass clef lines. And you're going to see that with a handful of instruments. Before we do, let's take a look at this other connector that we see right here. This is just called the line. So the different parts there of the grand staff. And so we have the brace and the line. And now that we know that this is a grand staff, what kind of instruments do we see? Well, we already know here we created this piano one right here. So piano is a big one. Another instrument might be the organ. A lot of organs are going to have a grand staff. A lot of times with organ, you have the right and left hand both playing on a keyboard. And then you have the foot pedals in organ that play all those low bass notes. So you're going to have the grand staff there. You might also have the harp. The harp, again, plays with two hands, very wide range on the harp. And then there is some pitched percussion. There's two kinds of percussion. There's drums. We know about drums. Drums are obviously like, snare drum or bass drum. And then we have what we considered our pitched percussion, things like xylophones and marimbas. There's some really big marimbas out there that would use the grand staff. I've seen some really cool videos, and I'll find some and put it in the classroom this week, of some amazing marimba players. A lot of times, not only do they play with two hands, but sometimes they'll have two or even three mallets in each hand to cover a wide range of notes. So one instrument, one human, and four mallets, two in each hand, kind of playing all the things. It is remarkable to see. Now, if we come over here and take a look at some of the notes that might appear on the grand staff, we've learned our treble clef notes. We've learned our bass clef notes. There's just a couple of things to point out here. The first thing we want to talk about is middle C. Middle C, the way that middle C works in the grand staff is we actually have two of them, and they can appear in two different ways. Right there, that is the middle C in treble clef. We already know that. We already know that first line below the staff is middle C. And then we've also learned that middle C in bass clef is the first line above the staff in bass clef. These are the same notes. These are the same notes. And in fact, if we were to smush these two close together, oh, look at that. They're going to overlap right there. They are the same note. So the question is, a lot of times, and as we get into down the road, as you become more advanced in your music theory knowledge, we'll be able to write music and understanding, well, where do I put the middle C? Do I put it in the treble clef? Do I put it on the bass clef? And the answer is, it just depends. It just depends depending on, is this part of a melody? Is it in a tenor voice? If it's vocal music or choir music, is it an alto voice? And so there's a number of things that go into which middle C do we choose, because we can continue to even go up here in our bass clef. We can have C, D, E, F. And if we were to parallel this in the treble clef line, those are the exact same notes right there. And over time, we'll learn which one to use and which not to use. And if we were to kind of do the same exercise, but doing a descending scale, we start on middle C right there in treble clef, and we want to descend or go down, right? So we have C, B, A, and G there. And we can do the same thing here in our bass clef. We'll start with C, B, A, G. And if I were to play both of these at the same time, it would be the exact same notes. So they're in complete unison. They are the same pitches. C4, B3, A3, and G3 are those respective notes. One of the cool things about Sibelius, even if you have the free version of it, if you click a note, down here this bottom info bar will tell you exactly which note you're on. You can see right here at the bottom it says the pitch is C4. Hope you all can see that on your screen. Down here we have pitch C4. And if I come over and I want to click that C there in the bass clef, guess what? Still C4. Still the exact same thing. In the next lesson, we're going to get into a little bit of a review of sorts of the terms we've learned thus far, and we're going to learn what a rest looks like and things like that. So come in next time. We'll look forward to adding on to our knowledge. And we're done with our clefs now. For a bit, we're going to get into rhythm in our next section. So excited to jump into a different aspect. We're going to go from all the pitches in music to the rhythms.